figured out what you're passionate about, and you've set goals to make sure that your dreams come to fruition. But how should we prioritize them? According to our friends at the subreddit Our Personal Finance, it would be in our best interest to follow the ideology of the retirement rapper, a 6-step flowchart that gives us insight on how to work through our financial goals. Today, we're going to talk about the first step, building an emergency fund. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Joe, and welcome to The Other 128, a channel dedicated to helping you master the other 128 hours outside of the work week. If an emergency fund didn't make your list of financial goals after last week's video, go ahead and put it right to the top. You can plan all you want, but sometimes in life, there's simply things that you can't control. Rather than crossing our fingers and hoping that something bad never happens to us, an emergency fund gives us the peace of mind that if something major happens in our lives, we're prepared for it financially. In addition to the peace of mind, an emergency fund prevents unexpected life turns to put us into a financial crisis. This would derail our financial goals way worse than taking the time to put some money aside. So what do I define as an emergency? There are things that everybody thinks of, like your car breaking down, an injury, or being laid off from your job, but there are a lot of things that are far from the obvious. An emergency fund can come in handy if the bank freezes your account due to a lost debit or credit card. Or what if you have to take an unexpected trip to another state or even country due to an ill family member or friend? What if your company accidentally pays you the wrong amount of money and you have a bill due the next day? I once had to dip into my emergency fund when I found out with short notice that I had to relocate for work and that I needed $3,000 to secure an apartment in another country. Had I not had the funds readily available, the move would have been much more stressful. Now that we know why we should have an emergency fund, and we've seen some examples of when you might use them, let's focus on its structure. The obvious question is, how much should you be saving for it? Truthfully, there isn't a correct answer. The general consensus is that your emergency fund should cover 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. This is recommended because in the event of losing your job, this would provide you adequate cushion until you were able to secure another one. It would likely provide good coverage for other one-off emergencies as well. If you're looking for a more robust way to determine the amount of money needed for your emergency fund, I recommend taking a look at this infographic created by Graeme Falco. Graeme is an emerging force in the financial independence / retire early, otherwise known as FIRE community. His blog, practicalfiguide.com, is a great resource for this way of thinking, so if it's something that you're interested in, I would definitely check it out. I've linked his post about emergency funds in the description below. Once you've decided on the amount, the next thing you need to determine is where to keep it. Given the nature of an emergency situation, you'll want to make sure that you can access your money immediately if necessary. With this in mind, I recommend putting your money in a savings account. You can look to online banks or credit unions for a slightly better interest rate compared to your home bank, but what we're looking for here is financial security. We're not as concerned with growing the fund. So what potential emergency are you preparing yourself for? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for checking us out today on The Other 128. We'll be posting new content every Friday afternoon, so be sure to subscribe below so that you don't miss out on any content. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for tips and tricks throughout the week. Until next time, I'm Joe, and this is The Other 128.